Spiritual Teaching 173. Love each other. 1. You are no longer children on the spiritual path. You are evolved spirits. Do you know what spiritualist means? I will say in a short sentence, spiritualist means disciple of the Holy Spirit. 2. You will all be great when you achieve true humility, when you practice true love. As long as evil exists in your heart, you will not be able to conquer the reward that I have promised you. That is why I come to teach you, to correct you and to wash you in the pure waters of the river of life, so that you may be worthy of reaching me. 3. I will correct your faults with love. I will raise you up when you fall. I will console you in your sufferings. I will not allow you to get lost. I will never abandon you. I will lead you by the hand along the path of perfection until you reach my kingdom. Yes, you have not watched. I have watched. My mercy and my grace is with you so that you overflow in love over the other peoples of the earth. I have taught you to pay pleasant worship to my divinity. I have manifested in word through your understanding, through intuition and revelation. I have also spoken to you through my spiritual world. I have manifested myself as a father in each of your trials, pains, and vicissitudes. 4. I have received tribute from all the worlds, from all the heavens. But when I have directed my gaze to this world, I have scrutinized all sects and religions, and I have only collected pain and received materialized worship inappropriate for this era. But I pour my grace and my love on everyone and receive the good seed. I have directed my gaze among the spiritualist people, and I have also found your worship imperfect. 5. I have communicated with you through human understanding to show you the way. And I have told you, spiritualize yourselves. Get rid of everything superfluous. I have come to free you from idolatry, fanaticism, materialism, erasing with my teachings, traditions and rites. Because to my doctrine you have added something from your past customs. You have introduced in it the traditions and rites rooted in your heart and that were inherited from your ancestors. 6. You are the Israelite people to whom I am speaking through human understanding, so that after 1950 you communicate with me from spirit to spirit and teach the world true worship. 7. Prepare your children, because it is the generations of tomorrow that will rise up sowing my truth without mixture of fanaticism and idolatry. 8. How great and beautiful is my doctrine, and how far it is from what is superfluous. Analyze so that you do not fall into fanaticism. The time will come when you can understand it clearly and you can reach the hereafter with your thoughts. How beautiful it will be when you reach that spirituality. 9. Then you will recognize that your delay was great, even having the master of teachers among you. You will understand also the reason for so many tests, purification, and vicissitudes. 10. Do not fear the world. Illuminate its path with the light of your spirit. Dematerialize it and strip it of its sin. 11. I do not come to distinguish you in classes. These differences disappear when you are before the Lord. I know well attire. I do not humiliate him, because he with his attire does not intend to humiliate others. I dignify the poor man, and I feel him next to him whom he has always seen as superior. And from this spiritual meeting I give birth to true brotherhood, giving you all the same word. Because just as in the wise there may be a spirit of low elevation, in the humble there may be a great spirit. But this is only contemplated by me. That is why I invite all races and tribes to hear the same word, so that you may be all disciples of the Holy Spirit. 12. The year of 1950 will come, but my spiritual world will not leave you. They will no longer have access to your brain, but they will continue to protect and inspire you. I will vibrate and speak through the mouths of those who are ready. I will open the road so that you can rise up, to give the good news to humanity. If you have communicated with me and with your spiritual brothers, how are you not going to cross the earth and the seas to communicate with your brothers from other races and other languages? I will give you the power and the universal language, which is love. 13. I want you to be a clean mirror, an example worthy of imitation. I don't want you to be just another sect on earth. I want that you be a safe haven for the shipwrecked, a star for the lost in the desert, a tree for the weary and dying traveler. 14. To help you in the fulfillment of your mission, I bless you, beloved people. I see the longing with which you meet to wait for my word. You do not want to miss one of my lessons, because in them you find the sustenance that strengthens the spirit and revives the flesh, and you are persuaded that there is no inheritance comparable to that which knowledge gives you in this mission. 15. In this word you have found resurrection and life and have given yourselves to it, as a castaway does when he arrives to discover a basket. 16. Human life is similar to a storm, and you want to save yourself from being destroyed by wars, by unleashed passions and calamities. 17. You want to live in peace. You want a world of justice. You dream of the brotherhood of men, and that is why, when listening to my word, you discover in it the divine promise of that world you long for. You have grouped around this manifestation to feel safe, prepared, and hope to reach the Father, purifying by your good works. 18. I bless this generation that knew how to listen to me and believe in my communication, as I will bless generations of the future that elevate your worship and practice within true spirituality. 19. My teaching will be heard again by humanity, but it will not be because my law has returned to men, because it has always been written in your consciousness. It will be men who return to the path of the law, as this world is like the prodigal son of my parable, also like that one. You will find the Father in his place, waiting for him to embrace him with love and sit him down to eat at his table. 20. The time for the return of humanity to me has not yet arrived. It still conserves part of its inheritance, which it will have to splurge on feasts and pleasures until she is naked, hungry, and sick, and then looks up at her Father. 21. From precipice to precipice man was descending spiritually to the degree of denying me and forgetting me, until the extreme of denying himself by ignoring his essence, his spirit. 22. Only my mercy will be able to avoid men the pain of having to retrace the path to return to me. Only me, in my love, I will know how to put the means for my children to find the path of salvation. 23. Is not your heart filled with joy, thinking that you have your Father's house in sight? And are you not moved by the moral and spiritual tragedy in which the peoples of the earth live? 24. If you had already understood the mission that you have to fulfill at this time, how would you care about your brothers, and how would you forget your own sorrows? But I see that you still do not have an idea of the gifts that each one has. How are you going to unite to make known to humanity that salvation is near? 25. Certainly the mission of one is not that of the other, but you must unite so that in harmony all come to form a single body and a single will, and thus unified in the fulfillment of my law of love, you will fight for a better world. How you are going to have the right to dream in a world of peace, harmony, and fraternity, if you do not do your part to make it. 26. You are not alone to fight or blind to walk, nor do you lack weapons to defend yourselves. I have made your spirit understand the beauties of spiritual life. I have opened your spiritual gaze towards the future. I have discovered to you the gifts and powers that you carry dormant deep within your being. 27. That idea of uselessness, incapacity, clumsiness, and smallness, which you had formed of yourselves, I have removed from your mind so that you understand that you can all be useful and that you must all rise to the abode where I wait for you. 28. Some say to me, Lord, why don't you allow us all to look at you like those brothers of ours who testify that they contemplate you? 29. Weak hearts, you need to see to believe. What merit do you find in contemplating Jesus humanized in a vision in the form of a man, when your spirit, through love, faith and sensitivity, can perceive me infinite and perfect in my divine essence? You do wrong those who envy those who have the gift of looking at the spiritual limited in figures or symbols, because what they see is not precisely the divine, but an allegory or image that speaks to them of what is spiritual. 30. Be in conformity with your gifts and analyze the testimonies you receive, always looking for the real meaning, the light, the teaching. 31. Carry your cross to the end with patience and resignation, and then it will be my law that will take it away from you. When you arrive before the doors of that abode that I have promised you, where you will come to enjoy true peace. Now you are the walkers, you are the soldiers and fighters who are going after an ideal, who are going after the conquest of a better country. 32. In your struggle you are not alone. Man has never been, because I have always shown him the best way. I have accompanied and encouraged him. 33. If someone asks me, how was humanity guided before the law of Moses was known to them? Would he receive from the Lord? I would answer them, that before Moses, I sent all the spirits with the Lord in their consciousness, so that all the acts of your life were agreeable to my divinity. Then I sent spirits of great light, patriarchs and prophets, so that with their works they would teach all their brothers the fulfillment of my law. 34. Those men honored me with their lives. They were not idolaters, because they already knew spirituality. They had a sense of love and charity towards others. They knew how to receive the foreigner in their lands and into their home. They were hospitable to the stranger and the weary traveler. They had a good word and wise advice for all. 35. But not all men have known how to be guided by the inner voice of their conscience. This requires spirituality, and the senses of the flesh flee from it. That is why it was necessary for your Father to manifest himself in various forms among humanity, to explain the law and reveal the divine. 36. You, people, who are listening to my teaching in the third era, and who still retain something of that seed entrusted to you in the past, understand that you must cleanse your heart of selfishness and materialism, so that the happy moment come to you when you reorient your life, guiding it by the dictates of your consciousness, like those first enlightened ones, like Abraham, from whom sprang the people who in all times have been the depository of all my revelations. 37. I want that when the moment comes when my manifestation ceases in this form in which you now have it, you remain prepared in such a way that each spirit of the beings that make up this people is like a temple for me, each heart a shrine, each home an altar, a patriarchal house, hospitable and full of charity. How deep will your peace be then? How strong will your heart be then, to get ahead in all trials? 38. The bread will be blessed not only by me, but also by you, because by then you will have learned to knead it with love, with faith, in an environment of peace. 39. The spiritual grace with which I have given you is the seed of spirituality. Who cultivates with love in his heart that seed will not become a victim of plagues or unleashed elements, nor will material needs afflict him. 40. You must not wait for these days to come to you by themselves. No, people, you with spirituality must do them to arrive, so that you can see its wonders and know how to appreciate how much the Spirit is capable of when it manages to rise above the mire, the dust and mud of a materialized and an impure life. 41. Do not forget, O disciples, that spirituality cannot admit fanaticism of any kind, idolatry or prejudice, because then it would cease to be spirituality. 42. He who carries purity in his heart and seeks to honor me with the works of his life, that one does not need material worship to feel that you have fulfilled the precepts of your Lord. On the other hand, the one who carries in his heart the uneasiness that his conscience makes him feel when judging him, he eagerly seeks rites and material worship with the false belief that with them he will be able to reconcile himself with his Father. 43. Be simple as flowers and pure as birds. Thirst transparent like air and diaphanous like pure water. Then you will have achieved that clarity and elevation that will make you know the truth of life. 44. Whoever goes so far as to say that my doctrine is a danger to the material progress of humanity commits with it a serious mistake. I, the master of teachers, come to teach humanity the path of its evolution and true progress. My word not only speaks to the spirit, it also speaks to the mind, reason, and even the senses themselves. My doctrine not only comes to inspire you and to teach you the spiritual life, but he comes to make light in all science and in all the paths. Because my teaching is not only specified to direct all the spirits towards the mansion that is beyond this existence, it also reaches the heart of man, to inspire him to live a pleasant life on this planet, dignified and profitable. 45. If I told you in the second era that my kingdom is not in this world, now I tell you, do not find yours here, because this abode, as you already know, is transitory for man. 46. I come to teach you the true life, which has never been based on materialism. That is why they will return to stand up against my eternal doctrine, with my teaching as always, which is of love, wisdom, and justice. However, it will not be understood immediately. Humanity will judge me again, put me back on the cross. But I know that my teaching must pass through all this, so that it is recognized and loved. I know that my most tenacious persecutors will later be my most faithful and self-sacrificing swords, because the greatness of my truth I will give you. 47. That Nicodemus of the second era, prince among the priests, who sought Jesus to converse with him, of wise and profound teachings, will follow me again at this time, to serenely analyze my work and convert to it. 48. That Saul, called Paul, who after persecuting me viciously, became one of my greatest apostles, will appear again on my path. And from everywhere my new disciples will emerge, some fervent ones, others selfless. The present time is of great importance. The time I am talking about is approaching you. 49. These wars of ideas, these fights that you are now witnessing, and these events that you have daily, don't they tell you about something that is coming? Don't they make you feel that a time is coming to an end and that a new era begins to spread its light? 50. I only want you, those of you who are witnessing my word at this time, to stand firm in the moments of trial that will precede the establishment of my law, because my new manifestation among you will be similar to the hurricane, under whose force the land and seas in which this humanity lives and stirs will have to curled up and stirred so that they expel from it all that which is impure in its depths. 51. When these tests come, do not fear, because when they are, you will understand that the beginning of the end of a reign has begun and that the dawn of a new happier time is approaching. 52. Evil, injustice, pride, slavery, ignorance, and earthly power, they will succumb to make way for the establishment of the reign of love, of light and peace among men. You will not waver or turn off your lamp. Even if you feel that the test is very hard and that the chalice that you have to drink be very bitter, on the contrary, you will kindle and fan the flame of hope, as the soldier does in the heat of battle, when you feel that you are dominating the enemy and that victory is near. 53. When you see yourself surrounded by hostile crowds, whose tongues are spewing poison at you, do not doubt my promises, because in those moments I will make you feel my reassuring presence, and I will make you hear my voice loving to repeat to you, I am with you. 54. You will see many times how from among those mobs a heart will emerge that understands you and that is for you like a shield. But you will only achieve this when you place your trust and faith in me. 55. Remember Daniel, that prophet who so defended his oppressed people in slavery in Babylon. 56. Let the fight come. It is necessary that you water again with your love the seed that is eternally sowed in the spirit of man. Let the weeds be cut off at the blow of the sickle of my justice and the lands, so that they are suitable for cultivation. 57. It is necessary to grant men who are ambitious for the goods of the earth a few more moments, so that their disappointment is absolute, so that at last they may be convinced that the gold, the power, the titles and the pleasures of the flesh, they will never give you the peace and well-being of your spirit. 58. The hour of the examination with the light of consciousness approach us for all humanity. There will be the sages, theologians, scientists, the powerful, the rich and the judges, wondering, what has been the spiritual, moral or material fruit that you have gathered, with which you can feed humanity? After that moment, many will return to me, recognizing that, despite the glory they had on earth, something was missing to fill the void in which his spirit had fallen, which can only be sustained with the fruits of spiritual life. 59. I have prepared for those spirits the oasis in the middle of the desert, because I know that through their existence, knocking from door to door and traveling road after road, some have sought the truth, others strength, others happiness. And at the end of the path that you have traveled on earth, when you are about to deny everything, I will give you rest in my bosom. I will comfort you and show you the true path, so that through it you may find the fields in which you can sow the fruitful seed of your experience. 60. The oasis is spiritual, to which men of all races will arrive by all the roads of the desert, some tired, others full of wounds, graying, and many with their empty saddle bags, ashamed at the sterility of the struggle they had undertaken. There they will hear my voice, recognizing it immediately, and they will exclaim, "It is the Lord." In that phrase they will reflect humility with the one that will finally find me, because everyone will have to come to me on their own merits. 61. That hour of infinite sweetness, reconciliation and humility will also be divine forgiveness for the prodigal children who at last return to their father's house in search of the one who gave them life and inheritance. 62. You have designated this November day to remember the beings who went to the hereafter. Since pointing at dawn, many spirits rise in prayer for those they call their dead. I tell you that it is very good that you remember them, that you have for them a thought of gratitude, love, admiration. But what is not right is that you mourn them as if they were goods that you had lost, nor that you leave them for dead, because if in the moments when your eyes shed tears for them and your chest sighs for those who left, could contemplate them, you would be amazed at the light that illuminates them and the life that moves them. Then you would exclaim, truly they are the ones who live and we are the dead. 63. In truth, you live confused when you cry before an inert body, while you forget that a spirit vibrates and pulses. 64. If instead of dedicating this tradition to them, consecrating a day to those who passed to spiritual life, you were always united to them by the bond of prayer, their invisible but real presence in your life, and their beneficial influence would be felt by you throughout your existence, in your struggles, in your trials, and also in your kind moments. And those beings, for their part, would have the opportunity to work in your works and noble enterprises, with which they would acquire more light. 65. I said at that time, let the dead bury their dead. And if you analyze carefully and with love my words, you will see how right I was to tell you. 66. You all carry in your heart and before your eyes the last image, the material vision of your dear ones. The one who left his body in childhood, you remember as a child, who left this life in the old age of its wrapping, you remember it as an old man, as well as the one who got rid of a body exhausted by pain or in the midst of painful agony. This is how you always remember it. It is necessary that you meditate on the difference that exists between what is body and what is spirit, so that you understand that where man dies, he is born the spirit to a new life. Where you stop looking at the light of the world, contemplate the divine light that illuminates the life of the eternal spirit. 67. I once told you that man was idolatrous because of his material inclination, and in worship for his dead he gives a palpable proof of their idolatry. But my doctrine, like a dawn of infinite beauty, has appeared in your life, dispelling the shadows of a long night of ignorance in which men have lived in confusion, and this light ascending towards infinity, as a divine star, will radiate its most beautiful lights on your spirit in a preparation that will take you safely to enjoy that life, in which all of you will be able to penetrate your elevation. 68. You will no longer be those who weep bitterly for those who have left to go and live in a better life, nor will you, being already in spirit, cry for those who have remained, or that you cry for having left the body that for a lifetime it would serve as a cover. 69. There are beings who suffer and become anguished when contemplating the disintegration of the body that they became so attached to. Plus, you must be the ones who, when contemplating that the end of a mission carried out by that body has arrived, raise a hymn of thanks to the Creator. 70. Today I come to excuse you, to forgive you of all your mistakes, and at the same time to show you a page of the divine book of life, where you can illuminate your spirit and your mind, so that you do works worthy of him who has taught you. 71. You are taking on a great responsibility before humanity, and as more and more lessons you receive from me, that responsibility is increasing, because you are the people who should speak of spirituality to man. Among you I will leave implanted the perfect way to get to communicate with me, without rites or forms idolaters, just from spirit to spirit. 72. This blessed seed that is already in your heart will be the bread that you must share with your brothers, and it will also be the spiritual inheritance that you bequeath to your children. 73. When I told you, love one another, I did not mean that this should only be between humans, but even from one world to another. But now I tell you that, when you think of those you say are gone, do not feel them distant or imagine them insensitive. Do not love the dead or remember the dead. You only have to recognize them alive, because they dwell in eternity. My peace be with you.